But this is his deal with UFC. I don't deal with UFC. This is his problem. But we have deal with them. He's gonna fight in Madison Square Garden, and they say yes.
Khabib Nurmagomedov may have just stolen the UFC's thunder with a casual but seismic announcement. While speaking on stage, the former lightweight king revealed that Islam Makhachev is set to defend his title against Jack Della Maddalena this November at UFC 322 live from Madison Square Garden in New York.
I think here in New York.
The moment wasn't exactly planned, and Islam's longtime manager, Ali Abdelaziz, reportedly wasn't thrilled about Khabib leaking the news early, but the Dagestani legend couldn't care less. With a grin, Khabib laughed it off and said it's Ali's headache to deal with the UFC and not his.
Brother, they promised us. Be quiet, please.
I think the manager
He's now upset because I give information. But this is his deal with UFC. I don't deal with UFC. This is his problem. But we have deal with them. He's gonna fight in Madison Square Garden, and they say yes.
This unexpected reveal has set the MMA world on fire. Fighters, analysts, and fans like Henry Cejudo had been speculating that the bout would take place in October, but Khabib's off-the-cuff confirmation now suggests otherwise.
Obviously, we have JDM. We have JDM versus Islam Makhachev. We all know that they're more likely they're going to fight. Their fight's going to take place October 20th. I don't know where the location is going to be, but they're going to fight in October.
What makes Khabib's reveal even more explosive is that Islam Makhachev had already dropped subtle hints about fighting sometime in November. During recent interviews, Islam had mentioned targeting a return later this year, but unlike Khabib, he did not give any venues or locations.
Ислам, привет, расскажи, как ты соскучился по боям вообще там, нет?
Ну нет, еще так не успел соскучиться. Сегодня приехал поддержать наших ребят.
Когда ждать тебя в октагоне? Скоро новости?
Ну, у нас уже на процентов 90 есть договоренность. Наверное, в ноябре.
In another clip that's now making the rounds online, Islam can be seen casually eating carbs and visibly bulking up ahead of his title fight with Jack Della. The lightweight champ, known for his strict discipline and calculated preparation, appears to be adding size.
Me take a shower before I cook for him. Because I have to be super clean.
How's Ali as a cook?
From 5?
From 5.
From 5? 4.5.
What do you think, Islam?
He's not cooking, he just put like fire, might show up. Somebody cook already.
Meanwhile, adding even more fuel to the MSG fire, Sean Brady has thrown his name into the mix. The number 2 ranked welterweight says he wants to fight on the same card as Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena at UFC 322 in Madison Square Garden. Brady believes the perfect move would be to face the number 3 contender, Shavkat Rakhmonov. For Brady, it's the ultimate statement matchup, one that could determine who steps up next for the belt.
I seen through a little birdie that Shavkat was saying something about him coming back in November or December. So if he's coming back in November, I want to fight soon, but I would wait and fight him at MSG on the same card as Jack and Islam, and then that's a true number 1 contender fight. Because he was guaranteed a fight. I beat the number 1 guy. Whoever wins that will be the true number 1 contender. So I would like to do that. We're going to reach out this week and see if that's an option.
So you're just stuck waiting.
Additionally, the Weasel broke down why Jack Della Maddalena might be the biggest threat Islam Makhachev has ever faced. He pointed out that JDM is not only one of the best strikers in the UFC, but also the biggest opponent Islam has ever gone up against. The size difference alone, according to the Weasel, makes this matchup far more difficult than anything Islam's dealt with before.
I think just as an opponent, JDM is the biggest threat to Islam. He's the biggest fighter he's ever fought. He's one of the best strikers in the UFC. He shows such good takedown defense in the Bilal fight, and he's very good at scrambling. Even scrambled out of the position with Gilbert Burns to land that knee and knock him out. Now, I think the reason why he's more difficult than Ilya is mainly because of the size difference. Like, JDM would never be able to fight a featherweight. I don't even think he could make lightweight. JDM is an average welterweight. Ilya is, I guess Ilya is like an average lightweight now, but he's nowhere close to the size of JDM. Skill for skill, Ilya is a better fighter, but JDM has the size that Ilya doesn't, and that's a big aspect of a fight.
Meanwhile, combat sports analysts Luke Thomas and Brian Campbell chimed in with a strategic take of their own. They believe Ilia Topuria should be sitting front and center at UFC 322.
Ilia Topuria in the front row? Do we need him coming in and facing off, even if that wouldn't be the next fight, just to continue to tell that story and build?
Listen, I know Dana was upset with Patty being in the cage. I wasn't. I thought that, not that he was my first choice for the title shot, but just that they were trying to promote that way. I was 2 thumbs up for me.
Ray, give him something to talk about.
Give him something to talk about.
According to them, if Islam Makhachev gets past Jack Della Maddalena, the UFC should waste no time in building the next chapter. A post-fight face-off between Islam and Ilia could set the tone for a champion versus champion.
I don't even need to sell the fight as a fight.
Yes.
But as an event, how big it could be. And
it's a rivalry. Let's go.
It's a rivalry. And it's one where, like, the stakes are obviously huge, but there's deep intrigue about the fight itself, too, and how it would go and what it would look like and just what it could do for MMA. You know, again, you can have your thoughts about the Trump thing at the UFC at the White House. That would be a big event. But I'm talking about, you know, we couldn't figure out what fights would go on there because we're just trying to, like, noodle. This fight would be enormous in scale. BC.
Moreover, Dana White has also weighed in, suggesting that if Islam Makhachev secures the welterweight title, a major super fight could be on the horizon. He recognized the significance of such a bout and indicated that the UFC would strongly consider making it happen, given the star power involved and what it could mean for the sport.
Another massive fight would be Ilia versus Islam too.
Of course.
Yeah.
But I mean, Salim is obsessed with that fight.
Oh, really?
He's obsessed with it. And I tell him, I'm like, but they both got to win more fights in their division first, right? That's kind of how you do it, right? When it's like they both run through their division, and then it's like you're in the position where it's like, I got to make this. That's what happened with Volk Islam, right?
Well, the other thing is, too, is that Islam moves up, and obviously if Islam won the title, you know, you immediately have a super fight with him and Ilia. So
could that be, if Islam gets one victory, could that potentially happen?
You have to see. It's one thing to sit around. This is what the media always tries to do, sit around and talk about these fights before they happen, or, you know, hypothetically speaking. I don't like hypothetical. These are options that we have if things play out that way.
I mean, this is all talk.
Speculative.
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly.
But I imagine that's a fight you guys would want to make at some point. I mean, just the magnitude
Sure.
of it.
I mean, I'd make that fight tomorrow.
As the fight with Jack Della Maddalena shapes up, Ali Abdelaziz confidently predicts that Islam will leave MSG as the champion. However, his ambitions extend beyond Maddalena. Abdelaziz also mentioned another fighter, Kamaru Usman, who surprised many. Despite their friendship, shared training camps, and mutual respect, Abdelaziz insists that they should face each other in the ring.
The way the division look right now, Islam fighting Maddalena. And I truly believe Islam is gonna beat him. I do.
Kamaru Usman, Islam Makhachev. I mean, I don't know if you hear, and that maybe.
I think they should fight.
Additionally, Javier Mendez, who has coached both Islam Makhachev and Khabib Nurmagomedov for years, hasn't started camp with Islam yet. However, that doesn't mean Islam hasn't been preparing. Mendez mentioned that he recently met Islam at an MMA event and was impressed by his appearance. He remarked that Islam looked outstanding and already had the build of a ready-to-fight welterweight.
No, yo no empecé con ellos. Voy a ir en agosto. Voy para Makhachev en Dagestan para entrenar con los muchachos. Ahorita yo miré a Islam ayer a la UAE Warriors MMA promotion de Fad Darwish hizo. Era muy espectacular ese promotion, ¿verdad? Pero no con Islam, nomás hablé con él un ratito, pero se mira muy bien ahorita.
Responding to the question of whether he had any issues with Islam Makhachev's move to the 170-pound division, Javier Mendez made it clear there was no resistance on his part. In fact, he fully supported the decision, saying Islam had been eyeing the jump to welterweight ever since his very first title defense.
Sí, porque mira, es lo que Islam quería hacer. Él me dijo cuando ganó la primera pelea del title defense, ¿verdad? Él dijo que lo que él quería es ganar el welterweight title si aún primero quería defender tu título más que todos. Y luego de allí, si puede hacer eso, él quería hablar por el welterweight title. Es lo que pasó. El UFC le dieron esa chance y él lo quiere hacer.
Moreover, Javier Mendez pointed out the significant threat Jack Della Maddalena represents, calling him the most dangerous opponent Islam Makhachev has ever encountered. Mendez noted that JDM is versatile and skilled in boxing, kickboxing, grappling, and wrestling, and will be noticeably larger than Islam. However, he stressed that Islam will prevent JDM from creating space or gaining momentum to display his full potential. potential.
Yo que miré con Jack Della que es el más peligroso peleador que vamos a pelear. Él tiene todo bueno. Él tiene el box muy bueno, el kickbox muy bueno, la lucha bueno, defiende bueno. Es todo bueno en todas las áreas. Este muchacho tiene todo y va a ser más grande que nosotros también. So es muy peligrosa pelea para nosotros. Pero ¿sabes qué? Si no le das la chance para hacer greatness, no vas a hacer.
Adding to that, Khabib Nurmagomedov also admitted that JDM is Makhachev's biggest test and toughest opponent yet. He cited JDM's size and incredible skills as factors that make JDM a serious threat.
Считаю, что Мадалена самый сложный соперник в ислам-карьере. Мое мнение. Ни Чарльз, никто. Ни один из этих бойцов.
И даже не Илья, если бы это бой был бы.
Ну, мое личное мнение, во-первых, Мадалена 2 раза больше, чем Илья.
Сопоставим.
Илья. Он 2 раза больше. Он выше, больше, ноги помощнее, корпус, бокс не хуже. И грэпплинг он возится очень хорошо, если вы смотрели. Ну, для меня, если я, например, буду готовить Ислама против Илья или Мадалины, для меня больше будет волновать и волнует Мадалена.
Building on that, YouTube commentator Bedtime MMA jokingly claimed that it would take someone like Thanos from the Marvel universe to stop Jack Della Maddalena right now.
Who's fucking beating him, mate? I don't know, bro. I might have to bring in Steve Owen. I might have to bring in fucking Thanos. Like, maybe Thanos might be able to beat JDM. Maybe he stuffs a couple of takedowns and land some good shots. Dude, who am I actually beating to beat JDM? I feel like obviously you could be like, dude, GSP destroys JDM. I don't think he does.
However, when it comes to facing Islam Makhachev, he noted that the most dangerous threat will be Islam's submission game. Even so, he believes JDM's physicality will be a key asset in that matchup, potentially allowing him to neutralize some of Islam's grappling dominance.
I think against Islam Makhachev, that's going to be the most dangerous factor is the submissions, but I think the physicality of JDM is going to help him in that fight. So I'm looking for a pure welterweight that's long and rangy, got some good elbows, got some nasty head kicks, got some solid grappling as well. I'm gonna pick prime Carlos Condit, dude. You guys try and act like I'm a casual. I'm picking prime Carlos Condit as the nightmare matchup for JDM.
However, Javier Mendez further emphasized that Islam Makhachev won't be cutting as much weight for this fight, which means he'll retain his full strength and endurance heading into the bout. While that gives Islam a physical edge in terms of conditioning, Mendez admitted that size would still be a factor, and JDM will remain the naturally bigger man.
Pues mira, cuando Islam pelea tu estilo del lightweight, ¿verdad? Baja mucho peso, so la fuerza que él tiene no es lo mismo que tiene cuando está más como unas 60, ¿verdad? La fuerza va a estar más. So, para él, yo no sé cómo vamos a parar en la pelea, pero una cosa es verdad, no tiene que perder tantos libras, ¿verdad? So, va a estar más fuerte. So, pero a ver cómo podemos hacer con Jack, porque Jack va a ser más grande. So eso no sabemos. Lo que vamos a saber es cuando peleamos con él a ver qué podemos hacer ahorita.
He noted that their strategy for dealing with JDM's size and skill set will be finalized once the training camp officially begins.
Yo nomás ando pensando cosas, pero yo no sé porque no peleando con él. Pero cuando peleamos con él, vamos a saber cómo podemos hacer por la fuerza de él, la fuerza de Islam. Yo creo que vamos a estar bien porque Islam, de todos los muchachos que yo he entrenado, es bien fuerte por el peso que él está ahorita.
And Islam Makhachev will need to be especially cautious of Jack Della Maddalena's power, as former title challenger Gilbert Burns revealed that JDM was the hardest hitter he's ever faced inside the octagon. Coming from a veteran like Burns, that's a statement that should not be ignored.
And I fought Woodley for Kamara, for Hamza. That guy,
so he could
cry. That guy give him a little jab, and then like, wow, my God. And you can feel it was not a stiff jab, it was just like pick.
Yeah.
And then, wow, that guy hits hard. Okay, I gotta watch out with that. but I was able to wrestle him, kind of control him a little bit. At the end, the guy did his thing.
In addition, Gilbert shared that he believes Islam Makhachev will transition well into the welterweight division. He expressed support for Islam's move up in weight, noting that the Dagestani champion has already proven himself as one of the best, even holding the pound-for-pound #1 spot before Ilia Topuria took over.
I think he's big. I think he's a big boy. He killed himself to make 55. I think that's the right division for Islam. He just tweeted something after the fight that he will not vacate the title, and then he vacated the title. I don't know. I think he was a little okay. If you're going up, we gotta. I don't know, but probably that was in the negotiation. And yeah, I like him moving up.
However, Burns emphasized that the matchup between Islam and Jack Della Maddalena is much closer than people might assume, especially with Jack spending significant time training alongside Alexander Volkanovski. According to Burns, that connection means JDM's camp will come in with valuable insight on Islam's tendencies and style. While acknowledging Islam's greatness, Burns made it clear Jack Della Maddalena has a very real shot at beating him.
It's a good fight. Jack and Islam closer than people think. Especially with Jack Della Maddalena doing a lot of training with Volk, with Craig Jones, those guys that kind of crack the Islam on that first Volk fight. I think they're going to have a lot of info, a lot of study, a lot of answers. It's closer than people think, this fight. I really like this fight. I don't have time right now. I didn't have time to dig deep a little too much on that fight, but I think it's way closer than people think. And JDM has a clear shot on beating Islam, you know?
Moreover, Alexander Volkanovski praised Jack Della Maddalena for his unwavering focus inside the cage, noting that what he admires most is JDM's ability to stay mentally present, rather than getting caught up in what his opponent might do. Volk highlights how JDM simply shows up, gives his best physically, and deals with adversity only when it actually arrives.
Bilal is he will, you know, you get people that are worried about the takedown. So like, and then they don't fight their fight on the feet. I'm gonna fight my fight and worry about the takedown when it's there.
Exactly.
And that's perfect. You need to be like that. For me, like with Islam, was like, I'm gonna do my thing. Yeah, I'll be worried about it, but at the same time, find the shots to go in, boom, boom, boom. But I'll worry about the takedown when they're there. But I'll still commit to things.
Realize you could handle it, then you were just like, this I can handle it.
And the confidence Jack Della is going to have now from getting through that, even though he's going to be confident. And then there's another one when you're successful with guys that are very dominant there. When you have the success there, then all of a sudden you're like, okay, now you end up even that much better at takedown. And then he's going to do a lot.
Adding to that, Max Holloway weighed in with strong praise for Jack Della Maddalena, calling him one of the best fighters in the world. Max emphasized that once JDM and Islam Makhachev step inside the octagon, people are finally going to see just how dangerous Jack really is. He expressed frustration over fans counting JDM out.
I think he'd be fine, man. I think he'd be good, you know, but people be sleeping on Jack, you know what I mean? And I think Jack is one of the best fighters in the world right now, and I think people is gonna find out when that match happens. I don't know. I'm hearing rumors maybe October. I think it's gonna be a fun fight, smart fight, but a lot of people counting out Jack for I don't know what reason. They just keep counting him out. Kind of reminds me of when I was like coming up and counting me out about certain fights. So I mean, he is, you know, he's the number 2 pound for pound in the world right now, but he's the number 2 pound for pound in the world for a reason. So you gotta respect that, but. You know, don't sleep on Jack. I think it's going to be a tough and fun fight.
Echoing similar sentiments, Paul Felder shared his thoughts, stating that Jack Della Maddalena brings a skill set more complete than anyone Islam Makhachev has faced so far. What makes things more compelling, according to Felder, is the size advantage Jack holds.
Yeah, he brings all the same, the takedown defense, the ability to scramble, and I think even better striking than anybody that Islam has really faced recently. Poirier had some moments, landed some good shots, and I mean, Jack has that and more, and is a much bigger, stronger guy at 170 pounds. I think it's going to be a very interesting fight between Islam and Jack. I mean, and I think that's how Jack should feel. He should feel like, hey, you're coming up to my weight class. I know you were the great at 155. All that is fantastic, but now you're in the big boy leagues.
As UFC 322 shapes into one of the most anticipated cards of the year, the unexpected bombshell from Khabib Nurmagomedov has only added fuel to the fire. With Islam Makhachev's welterweight debut against a dangerous and surging Jack Della Maddalena now seemingly locked in for Madison Square Garden, the stakes couldn't be higher. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell icon so you never miss a beat, and we will see you in the next video with more exciting updates.